Welcome one and all to Umami Manga. I'm Petter and this is James.
Hello!
And today we are talking about volume 23 of Kaguya-sama Love is War. It's always such a big event for me whenever we do one of these days. I'm always happy. And something I want to say before we get into the discussions real quick is that we have recently gone through the Vinland Saga manga together. It's been a blast. Go check it out if you haven't, or read the manga first if you haven't, and then listen to our podcast if you want to. We've had a lot of fun doing that. And I expressed by the end of that catch-up that Vinland Saga had usurped Kaguya-sama Love is War in my mind. That's as far as my favorite manga goes. However, on further thinking about it, that I can't say that's the case really. Going back and reading more Kaguya-sama again and having read this most recent volume, I feel like Kaguya-sama does remain my favorite manga ever, even though Vinland Saga is also incredible and it's very close, but it doesn't quite beat Kaguya-sama for me. Just wanted to say that.
I'm glad you got that out.
Yeah, it feels good.
Well, let me just say about this volume. This is probably one of my favorite volumes so far. It is. There's so much drama, so much good comedy stuff, and really great character moments that were much needed.
Yes.
And yeah, just a lot of great stuff in this volume. Maybe it's because it's been so long since the volume 22.
Yeah.
But it really was nice to read the story again and get back into it.
Absolutely. And it was. I agree with you. I think this was a stronger volume than several others have been. It was a very strong one to me.
Very strong one. Yeah.
And it was nice to see the first 3 chapters basically had very good Chika focus, while the last 6 chapters of the volume had incredible Miko focus.
Yes. Yes.
So it was good to get focused on our 2 favorite girls. And I will say actually I was very positively surprised to see this much Miko content in this volume, since I hadn't really expected I guess that amount of focus on her to come until the next volume.
Same.
Since the next volume has her on the cover art.
The covers are a lie.
They are.
Kage was on this one, and yeah, she had an appearance and had a couple important things. But it wasn't about her.
No.
Come on.
You're right. Absolutely. Honestly, I kind of feel like this one and the previous book should have switched volume covers.
They should have switched. I agree.
Oh well. One last thing I'll point out before we get into the character discussions is that the character index at the start of the volume is still not up to date with the school years for the characters that are in there. Yeah. It still says that they're in 1st/2nd grade respectively, which is not the case. So get on that. I don't know if that's the localization, on the localization team, or if it's on the actual real books, but, anyway.
I think it's got to be the actual localization team. They must be going over their head, not thinking that. That feels like a detail that the actual publication would be on top of.
True. Yeah, right. Oh, well. Let's start by talking about Miko Ino this time. The title page for chapter 226 has a drawing of her where she's I guess it's supposed to be the representing the conniving Miko, where
the
she's
bad
wearing
girl.
The bad girl Miko, where she's wearing a hoodie and some thigh-high socks and earrings, and it's funny. Yeah, she even has a little fang. It's funny because I've actually since May last year, so for quite a while, I've been seeing fan art of Miko wearing this outfit.
Really?
Several pieces of fan art. Since obviously I'm a fan of Miko, so I end up seeing a bunch of fan art of her. So I've seen enough fan art of that throughout the time leading up to now that I had understood that this has got to be something that's actually from the manga, since it was so reoccurring. So now I'm glad to have finally seen it. Even though it wasn't actually in a chapter, it was still good to have seen, I guess, where that all came from now.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was so sweet to see how, she cares for you, wanting him to eat healthy and everything, all of that. We know that she has been developing these feelings, but this book really started to show it, and she started to, even before Chika convinced her to, become, unknowingly kind of convinced her to be a little bit more pushy about it, or go, or to take more action about it. Even before then,
become a little more manipulative.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Even before that, Miko still had, she was still encouraging you to eat better, for example, and doing little things like that, which I thought was very sweet. Then obviously after Chika accidentally talked
Unleash the
about it,
beast.
yes, she accidentally did that, and Miko did go harder,
Oh yeah.
but she still has a hard time admitting that she, or yeah, to Chika in that scene that she likes you. I mean, it's super obvious that she does. Like she might as well have said it, but based on everything, their dialogue in that scene. She just can't bring herself to say it, which is, I guess, a nice callback to how Kaguya struggled with admitting that she liked Miyuki in front of Ai back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she was seriously considering to wait at least 2 years to like make any moves on you.
Man,
Like, that's a bit extreme.
yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean, for some people, maybe 2 years would have been enough, and maybe you would have been available 2 years later. But it's that's just being way too considerate. Maybe even being a chicken about it.
Right, precisely. Yeah, it's, I think, yeah, a combination of being a chicken and being way too considerate. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and right, like Miko is such a good person. Like, she's so kind. Really, she is. And even after she, I guess, starts to go harder, such a to try to get you to like her, and or to get his attention, or whatever. Even after that, like, sure, like, I guess the narration and Chika kind of accuse her of being, or like going too far, and like doing stuff that she shouldn't. But I honestly don't think she did anything wrong. Personally, like, she's following her heart and doing what she can.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she was manipulative or evil at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the whole evil thing that Chico was going on about.
Yeah.
It's definitely just comedic,
True.
That being said, I do think she was going a bit far, and what I mean by that is, to someone that you're not in an open relationship with, to kind of have that physical touch like they were doing, and even like lying on someone's lap. That's like borderline expressing your feelings to a person.
True, for sure. In a way, for sure.
And I think Miko saw it kind of that way as well, as was indicated by the end of the chapter when she kind of runs out, saying that would Ishigami actually notice or figure it out or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think she was definitely trying to put down those hints instead of just being like, I think what Chika was suggesting, on his mind when he is ready for a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I think she was still doing that, like, making sure that Ishigami was aware of her.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she was also taken to an extreme ish, where it's not just that I have feelings for you. Like, I'm totally okay with that kind of thing without blatantly expressing it.
Fair. I mean, I don't think Yu has put it together yet.
No.
I'm sure he probably will eventually. But...
I mean, I think he is, like, he is in his mind right now, but he's
yeah.
I have that discussion when we talk about Ishigami later.
Right, for sure. But yeah, like, I mean, I can understand thinking, like, I can understand the manipulative accusation on her. Like, I can understand it. I don't quite agree with it, though, especially because she was really being honest and like herself, even though she was, I guess, taking more drastic measures than she otherwise would have. But she was still being herself. She wasn't being untruthful or deceitful or fake in any way, unlike someone else that we're gonna talk about later. But yeah.
So yeah, I would say yes. It was being true to herself. It was kind of like having no restraint in a way. I think the good girl Miko would have not pried into his thoughts and what he was going through at that time, but being let loose, or allowing herself to be let loose like that, yeah, she was able to do what she did. I think the manipulation comes from basically putting Ishigami in a certain mindset to get him to let her pat him on the head, or get him to cry.
Yeah, to make him vulnerable, and so that she can comfort him. Yeah,
that part. It's not like manipulative is a word that's been I think taken badly, especially as of late, and it
Mm.
usually is kind of in a bad connotation. But there's also hmm, I'm not saying this is good manipulation either. I just think
Mm.
it's kind of middle of the road in a way. It's just
Yeah.
it's not necessarily a bad meaning is what I'm trying to get at. And I think that what she's doing is not bad, but it is manipulative.
Right.
You
Then
know?
I think I can understand that. I can get behind that. Like, yeah, it's she isn't a bad person for doing what she's doing. I wouldn't say, but
Right.
sure, it is a bit manipulative. I can agree.
Right. And
Right.
and again, like what Chika was saying was a whole evil thing that just funny, you know. I mean, and maybe she does think that. I wouldn't be surprised, but it is just, you know, that was just a whole comedic type of thing,
Yeah.
especially compared to what we're used to with Miko. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. And also her apology after that, after having said that, seemed really genuine too. I thought.
Which part was that?
After you said that, when you're emotional, you express yourself in like kind of poetic language and stuff.
Oh,
First, she laughed and said, "Haha, I'm sorry," but then she takes a little break, and then she says, "I'm really sorry," with a more serious kind of face. And I thought that apology seemed really genuine.
you know what? I'm gonna kind of disagree.
Really? Oh no!
I know. So maybe there is a bit of a genuine feeling behind her apology, but I also kind of took it as well in two ways. One, Ishigami mentions the poetic language thing, and that's totally what Miko does too. Like she
Mhm.
when she is relaxing, she'll do poems and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So there's some relatability there, and maybe that touched a string. But I also think she had a spark where she's like, I could use this.
I mean, true. Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then she automatically went with as an apology, I'll comfort you.
Yeah.
Like that
No.
just seems like she planned it at when after, because that little pause, like she like came up with it in her mind, and that's where it went. It's what I'm thinking. But again, I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I do think she was generally sorry, but also
Mm.
I'm going to use this for my advantage.
Right. Exactly. She can still be genuine while scheming a bit. I think. I don't think like they kind of cancel each other out here.
Fair.
But no. But yeah, that is a good point still. I liked how the narration, like, it said how, like, it's not a TV drama. Fate and story arcs aren't on her side.
Hmm.
And I thought that. I mean, I guess we'll see. We'll have to see if that actually ends up being true or not.
Mm-hmm.
Will she have a story arc kind of moving into the next volume? Like, and how is it all going to turn out? I guess we don't know. But it was fun to think about. I thought that if potentially this doesn't end up the way we all want, or at least that the two of us want, like maybe they won't actually become a couple. Maybe Miko won't get what she wants here.
There's no way.
And if that's the case, then the narration here is accurate. But it was just, I don't know.
Well,
it made me think a little bit.
Speaking of the narration, though, and maybe help me understand if I misunderstood it.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning of chapter 226, the narration says Miko is romantic at heart. She longs for romance but doesn't have a boyfriend.
Mm.
Now, however, and then it goes to the story, but it doesn't ever like finish what it was saying. That now, however, means different than saying she doesn't have a boyfriend yet. But still, the now, however, makes it sound like it's strongly hinting at she's gonna have a boyfriend. Like she's gonna Ishigami is going to be her boyfriend, especially since Ishigami is there on the panel. It says now, however. I want to know what the Japanese says exactly, because sometimes the translation can not be great, as we've discovered.
Right.
In part thanks to Sherlock, I think, for pointing out some of the inconsistencies.
For sure.
But I can't think of any other way to put it or to translate the English. Like now, however, like
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think
it's like it's leading up to something.
yeah, dude. I hadn't thought of that way at all, but I love that, and like I think that's a really cool way to view that. And now that does give me hope again. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ah, man, yeah.
But it's definitely not going to be easy.
No, oh no. Definitely not. Oh, Yeah, no, it's so exciting. Back in our Volume 9 discussion, because I actually listened back to that one recently,
Oh.
we were talking about to what extent Miko would have comforted you after he lost the race at the sports festival. Because there was that moment where it looked like she wanted to go up to comfort him, but Miyuki kind of stopped her before she could do that because the Pep Squad members were, like, it was kind of their time to shine there. And I guess Miyuki kind of understood that, so he prevented Miko from going up to you there. And back then we discussed, like, if Miko had gone up to him, like, to what extent would he have comforted him and whatnot. And it's kind of funny, or I thought it was kind of funny, that back then you said that you didn't think that she'd say there. And obviously I don't think she would have. I still don't think she would have done it back then. But she literally said that in this volume when she comforted him. So I thought that was kind of funny. That, I guess, it means she's come a long way. And it also funny how it's the exact wording that you said back then actually came up here in the manga.
I'm sure she's going yosh yosh or something like that.
Oh yeah.
But to my credit, there's been a lot of volumes since then. The relationship has definitely changed, as you mentioned. And I also think, again, we're talking about the bad girl emo here, the bad girl Miko here.
Yeah, right.
You know, the girl who's going to do anything to get her way. And at that point, even if she was comforting him, I don't think she would, especially since she hadn't recognized her feelings at all. I don't think she would have done comforting like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
To that extent. Anything that's remotely romantic, probably not.
Right, yeah, not back then. But yeah, I guess on all of that, I like we got to see you actually finally resting his head on Miko's lap, since he never did that, or they never did that back in, I think it was volume 11 when Miyuki and Kobachi did that friendship plan for Miko and you.
Yeah.
So that, and I think that was even in, like, at the end of that chapter there was like, the image of that friendship plan thing.
You're right.
So,
I remember seeing the image. I was like, yeah, friendship plan. Okay. I guess things are going swimmingly. But I forgot about the connection to the, like, lying on the lap thing. Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah. Back then it was specifically for, like, ear cleansing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they did do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, going back to when Chika was, well, unknowingly convincing Miko to be more direct. I'm currently actually finding myself in a pretty similar situation that Miko is in. And I felt it was funny to me that it kind of felt like Chika's advice kind of really spoke to me.
I think it's pretty good advice.
It was. Honestly, I thought she did give good advice. I guess this isn't on Chika, but she did give good advice there. And it really spoke to me, and it kind of reminded me of how my situation is really rather similar to Miko's in some ways. Although I guess a lot of crushes can be that. But anyway, yeah, it was some good advice for sure.
It's me in real life. No.
I mean, I do like to relate to Miko.
Fair.
I will admit that.
I like how she mentioned she plays RPG Maker games, and some of the ones that Shirogane Dad mentions, I was like, hey, I've heard of those before.
Yeah, like Ib, at least, is one I know of.
One of them is actually an anime. But yeah, the whole, like, she was already kind of okay with video games, although she never owned a console, but the whole kind of transition to her becoming FPS, addicted gamer kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't affect her grades.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only been like one night or so.
I think it was over several days. They did this every night.
Oh, several days. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Training montage. Forgot.
So it was like an extensive training thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So several nights in a row, I think they did that.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, that's a good point. Are her grades gonna drop now?
I hope not. I mean,
if they drop a bit, they're still gonna be great. I think, even if she doesn't maintain the number one spot, she's still gonna have a good spot. Kind of like Miyuki dropped.
Yeah.
And he still had a pretty, respectable score still.
Yeah. Some random NPC in their class. Finally, I'm number one.
Yeah.
My plan has been complete. Like he or she behind the scenes was trying to get Miko to get into Ishigami and use the video games. Like they were the one that suggested to Chika to suggest to Ishigami that they join the group Discord chat, and it's just this whole elaborate plan in order to get number one.
Wow, the true mastermind.
Yeah, the true
behind
mastermind.
everything. Yeah. Also, a true Miko U shipper.
Apparently.
Yeah, that's funny.
There's many of them.
Yeah. But yeah, like it was great to see her getting into the FPS genre, kind of, and again, like it's not a big stretch. Like, she did it largely in order to have something that she can share with you, but we did know that she had she had levels of interest for games even before that. When she, well, there was the scene back in volume like 19 or somewhere around there when she was enjoying the Ring Fit adventure thing, was it? When you was playing that in the chambers. So she's always had an interest for games. So it makes sense that she would do this, not just for, well, obviously she started doing it because she wants to get closer to you, but she evidently had a lot of fun with it, even without playing with you. So regardless of what happens, even though obviously I hope that she will end up with him, but regardless if she doesn't or not, this is not wasted time. She's having fun with it, so that's all good in and of itself.
Yeah, maybe a little too much fun, causing misunderstandings, but as long as you're enjoying yourself, I suppose.
Right.
A couple things. They mentioned that this is Miko's first crush. That's interesting. I guess that makes sense. She's still pretty young, but
she's like 15 or 16.
Someone as much of a romantic as she is, I would think that she would have had a crush before, but I guess her standards were so high and she never really bothered to look at anybody else until Ishigami showed her some kindness, that I guess that led to a crush, but I don't know. Anyway, I not to say like, oh, I doubt that's what it is. I was just like, oh, that's an interesting little detail. Right.
I mean, I think she could have had like some kind of crush or whatever you want to call it on the person who gave her the flower, which obviously it was you, or actually, has that been 100% confirmed? I think.
I think it
maybe not.
The next volume probably,
but it's like it's super heavily implied at the very least. Like,
yeah.
So I think like from her perspective, whoever gave her that, I think she may have kind of sort of crushed on without knowing who it is. So I guess whenever she finds out that it's the same person, then she's gonna crush super hard, like double crush.
Yeah, so I guess that means it truly was her first crush, like all the way back then.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, Ishigami has been the first crush.
Right, yeah, it would mean that, yeah.
And then the last thing I'll say is just kind of clarification. So she says she can't cook. Did we know that before? That she couldn't cook?
Well, no, I don't think we ever knew anything explicitly about that. So no, I don't think so.
Huh.
We've known that she loves to eat, but that's it.
Yeah. I figure that someone who liked to eat as much as Miko does would have known how to cook, but I guess she's just so busy, or maybe she's inept at it. I don't know, but
right. I mean, when Chika arranged the cooking contest back whenever that was, volume 10 or whatever, obviously Chika, since she arranged it, she wouldn't be competing in it. But out of all of the other student council members, Miko was the only one who didn't compete. She was, with Chika kind of being a referee. So I guess maybe that's an indication that, or an early maybe slight indication that she didn't cook or couldn't cook. I don't know. But yeah, we know that for sure now. I have a couple more things on Miko. I'll try to get through it as quickly as I can.
No, she had a big role in this volume.
She really did. Yeah, the last 6 chapters, like, it was basically all her, or well, for the most part. Well, I was really happy to see that Miko and Daddy met up outside of the Radio Kaikan building in Akihabara, since I have spent a lot of time there during both of my Tokyo trips. So it was fun to see a place where I've spent a lot of time. So that was neat. And we got to see the first time when Miko caught you playing video games at school. And like a little flashback to that. And I thought Miko was very, very reasonable and understanding. Like, it was the first time she was like, yeah, since this is your first offense, I guess I'm not going to confiscate your gaming device. Like, she was very reasonable. but Kobachi referred to it as a fight in her description of that moment,
Oh.
which to me seems just really over dramatic and ridiculous, and like, and she said that fight was the reason why, or that was when her friendship with Miko started to crumble or whatever. It just seems so unreasonable to me and just ridiculous.
Yeah.
That obviously we'll talk more about Kobachi later, but specifically, but I'm just at a loss with her right now, and yeah.
So I kind of interpreted that a little differently, but maybe I'm wrong here.
Oh.
So I didn't see this as a fight like you. I just saw it as a perfectly reasonable interaction.
Yeah.
And so when she says our friendship started to fall apart the moment they had their first fight, I figured we haven't seen that yet, and that the next chapter maybe will give, or the next volume will give that to us.
Gotcha.
But knowing their kind of frayed friendship right now, maybe she did kind of see that, or maybe she does consider that their first fight. But I don't know. I can see it either way. One way makes a little more sense than the other. In terms of like a rational human being.
Yeah, Kobachi is not rational right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is still a good point, though. It's maybe she isn't referring to that instance specifically. I hadn't considered that, but
yeah.
Although I'm probably still mostly choosing to think that this is the instance that she talks about, even though it doesn't make sense or it doesn't make much sense. I think she might be referring to this.
Gotcha.
Chika didn't like seeing like how Miko and Yu, like they were getting along out of the blue, I think she said, and she was kind of freaked out by that for some reason. Or well, I mean, Chika's Chika, but they have technically been getting along for a while. Like I wouldn't say this was out of the blue. This wasn't the first time. Like this wasn't the first nice moment or kind of sweet moment between Miko and Yu. I thought they had good moments before, like the Ring Fit Adventure scene that I mentioned earlier. Like that was a really sweet moment that they've already had before. So I didn't think that the scene that she thought was out of the blue was out of the blue. Or wait, actually, to her, wait, maybe that was when she was in Kyoto. So to her, it might have been the first time she saw that.
Exactly.
So I guess that makes sense. Okay, I'm just debunking my own statements here.
I didn't need to speak. I was you did it for me. It's like okay, I'm good.
Well, okay, makes sense. But yeah, it's still nice to have seen, or for us readers at least, to have seen this kind of grow into something over time, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
It hasn't felt out of the blue actually,
right?
But I can understand that what Chika would feel that way. But anyway, like overall, like I don't think Miko deserves all the flack that she's gotten in this volume from Chika, and especially from Kobachi, as we see at the end. Like, I don't think she's doing anything wrong. We talked about it earlier about the kind of manipulation thing. Like, sure, it's not great what she has done, some of it, but still, it's nothing terrible, I don't think, at all. Plus, a bunch of the characters throughout the story have pulled dirty moves in hopes to get like romantic and like sensual advantages. Like Miko is far from the first one and far from the worst one, in my opinion. And yeah, she does not deserve this at all.
Yeah, I didn't feel the volume was very antagonistic towards Miko at all. Really?
Maybe it's just like I guess some comments from Chika, which I can understand a lot of them were kind of played as jokes for us. So I guess I can have oversight with Chika's I guess criticisms, but I'm just really upset at Kobachi.
Yeah.
I really didn't take that well at all. Like I'm super upset. And how just well, we'll talk about her later, but yeah. Well, for Miko to learn how Kobachi really feels about her, that must have really hurt Miko. I think, even though she didn't really show it at the time, I think it really hurt her. So I feel really sorry for her about that.
Yeah, that was rough. That's a rough way to learn about someone's true feelings for you.
Yeah, Right, and they were really real feelings too. That's what's made it sting so much more. Like among all the shit that she's been going through for volumes on end, now there's this too. Like she's getting betrayed by her oldest friend or oldest supposed friend.
Right.
On top of all that, like ugh, terrible. Oh, Miko. Oh, Miko. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I had on her.
Uh, One thing about her and Chika actually, I wonder what Chika thinks about Miko becoming, e-gamer FPS girl.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
we didn't really get her.
Oh
She
yeah.
doesn't know so far as we know. I wonder
Yeah.
what she thinks about that, and does she think it's a good idea that that's what she's doing in order to get closer to Ishigami?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like maybe she'll have an exaggeration like she tends to do, or maybe she'll be like, "There, good job. See, that's a little more. That's a little better, I suppose."
Right.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, how would she? She's so hard to predict.
Yeah.
But I love that about her. But I guess let's move on to Chika Fujiwara then.
Nice. As you probably figured, I have a lot to say.
I don't blame you. Actually, do you mind if we kick off by talking about her in relation to the title of the first chapter of this book?
Sure.
So the chapter refers to the jeweled branch from Horai, which is the last out of the 5 impossible demands that Princess Kaguya in the folktale demanded from her 5 suitors. Well, the last in
Mm.
terms of like the one that we haven't actually heard or seen anything of so far in the story. And now it's
Hmm.
mentioned here in the chapter title, but it's still kind of cryptic in my opinion. Like only Kaguya and Chika appeared throughout that whole chapter. So it makes part of me wonder if it's Chika who is supposed to represent that jeweled branch, even though her name doesn't really have anything to do with that, as far as I'm aware, at least. Since the other 4 all have names that definitely make it pretty clear which of those impossible demands that they're tied to. However, I did go through a lot of the characters earlier today, and
Hmm.
you know put them through Google Translate. I think I did this a couple volumes back, but now I did it again, and I did it to, I guess, more of the characters as well, in hopes of finding someone that might fit with this jeweled branch, since we know that that's the one that's missing, that we don't know the person for. And interestingly, I got 2 ones that might sort of match with it.
Hmm.
The first one is Kashiwagi, which means oak tree, according to Google Translate anyway.
Hmm. Did not know that.
And obviously, like oak tree and a special jeweled branch, there isn't necessarily a correlation there, but at least branches come from trees, so there could be, it could be, I guess, the intention, maybe. But then again, she wasn't at all part of that chapter or relevant to it at all, so it also feels like a bit of a stretch, I suppose. The other character that I found, which might also be potentially a candidate here, was Kozue Makihara, where Kozue means treetop. Kozue Makihara is the tabletop gaming club president,
Hmm.
like the girl with the black hair and bangs. She looks a lot like Erika Koze
Hmm.
of the media club. In my opinion, I always thought they looked kind of similar. I think it's the hair. But anyway, Kozue Makihara, her name Kozue means treetop, which also made me think that maybe that's the intention. But her role has been kind of minor. I think her biggest chapter was the one where she teased Miko. Did the whole like ear clipping thing to Miko.
Ah.
I'm pretty sure that was her anyway. But she hasn't had a whole lot else. I mean, she's been hanging out with Chika and stuff like that too. But anyway, I guess that's my research on that. Do you have any comments on that in regards to the jeweled branch?
Um. I kind of feel like while the name is not confirmed to fit, I think Chica's supposed to be the jewel branch. I think that's just
Mm.
I think this is confirmation of that.
Yeah, right. It does make sense since yeah, again, it's just her and Kaguya in that chapter.
Hmm. And
Mm.
I mean, Chica being an impossible girl kind of makes sense,
Yeah, you're right.
you know.
You're absolutely right.
Anyway, so I don't know. I think this kind of confirms it, but I could be wrong.
Mm. Right. I mean, of course. Yeah. Yeah. I'm still waiting eagerly for, I guess, harder confirmation on this.
So what would be harder confirmations? Like, wow, Chika, you really are a jewel branch. You know.
Well, either another chapter with a title like this, which has Chika focus, either
Uh-huh.
something like that, or some kind of understanding toward her name having a meaning that would, I guess, connect her to that jeweled branch. Because it's really been so consistent with the other characters, and I feel like it feels strange, I guess, to break the trend.
If her kanji is the same, Fujiwara, Fuji is a wisteria plant, and I mean it's kind of like
Oh,
jewels on a branch in a way.
oh, really? Okay, okay, sure. Well, in that case, I guess.
Maybe that's something, but
I mean, hey, I mean, it's yeah, it looks like a tree, like with branches. Yeah, I mean, dude, I can get behind this.
and the other thing is that it doesn't say like part 1 or part 2, and usually they have
True,
said like a part, you know. So this
that's
almost feels
true.
like this is the only the only focus that should get. No, the only time that we'll get a branch of pearls type of or Mount Horai's jewel branch kind of reference.
Right. Yeah, you're right. That might be true. Yeah, I mean, at the very least, it was good to see that fifth impossible demand hadn't been forgotten or kind of overlooked.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's good to know that for sure. But anyway, let's get into the Chica content. Go with whatever you got.
As someone who has kind of was trying to tell himself that there just won't be any kind of character development for her, you know, she's perfect the way she is. Like what she doesn't, you know, she doesn't need any sort of redemption arc or anything like that. It is really great to get a couple chapters where she not just one but two, uh, or actually three.
Yeah, the first 3 chapters.
Yeah, where she has some actual growth or acknowledgement of how she changed. Some of this stuff is in the past, and more of her kind of just thinking about the events of the entire story. But in that context, you kind of see, yeah, she's kind of been changing in a way throughout the story.
Yeah.
And whether that be her character herself or just her relationship with people, that's a little different. But it was still there, and I really appreciate that. And it was definitely something that I was looking for. It's not the tear jerking, melodramatic, got to save Hayasaka type of moment.
Yeah.
That's just not her character, and I'm okay with that.
Mm.
I think what we got is really fitting and explains a lot about why she is about having fun and just enjoying every minute of every day.
Right.
Because as we learned in the first chapter, that was not part of her life. Her life was devoted to one thing and one thing only, the piano. And that took away any sort of enjoyment she had from it, really. And it took the probably intentionally rude words from Kaguya to snap her out of it and quit. And that's kind of what, at least for Chika, sparked her interest in Kaguya and then what led to their eventual friendship. So it was really beautiful to see all that, and I loved the. I mean, it was kind of hard to see, but also I just love her face when she hears Kaguya say that, in the flashback, just like the bags and just how tired she looks, just exhausted. She's,
yeah, right.
That face. It hurts, but also, I love the drama, or not the drama, but the emotion behind it in a way.
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
Yeah, I love how that starts their friendship.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Since it was really great to see from both ends, really, for both Chika and Kaguya, since we know that Chika was Kaguya's first friend, and we've known that for a long time now. But to actually not now know how it started, it's great.
Yeah.
And I also loved, as you said, like understanding why Chika is Chika, why she is the Chika that we know. And it's all because she just wants to be free and have fun every day and live life to the fullest, because she couldn't before.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. It's amazing. I love that.
I do too. And sometimes you have like these really overbearing parents who would probably just nag you to infinity. And maybe her parents were like that at first, but they just kind of gave up. But I like how now it seems like her parents are just super supportive of and her siblings and everything are totally okay with her not being this prodigy of piano anymore.
Right. Yeah.
That's such a minor thing, but I like I like that for her character.
Exactly. And I mean, it's possible that her family wasn't necessarily really pushy, but rather that maybe Chika just couldn't say no, or like she struggled with like
Yeah, good point.
saying or like making any changes or anything like that. She just like yeah, they supported her because like anyone who cares for you would kind of, but maybe they didn't realize that she was kind of pushing herself too hard because of all of the encouragement, kind of potentially.
Right. Yeah. So it makes me wonder what she wants to do for a living. Because I'd always like thought,
Oh yeah.
why did she become a piano teacher? Or I mean, I there's the whole like joke where she says, "I'll become prime minister," but I guess politics technically aren't out the window for her. So
Yeah.
there's that. But I don't know. I think she would really, really excel as a teacher. And okay, sure, maybe not piano because really bad experience with that, maybe. But like as we've seen with Miyuki, she just can be a very patient teacher in a way.
Yeah.
And I think she can understand how to teach. I mean, yes, there's different types of teaching as we've experienced with her and Kage going back and forth on the whole sword on dancing. But
Right.
I think she has a really a great aptitude for it. But I guess
She
it doesn't mean
does.
necessarily you have to become a teacher. You can still have those teaching skills and not be a teacher per se. So
Right.
anyway,
Right.
that's just my thinking about that.
Yeah, I like that.
And I love how this volume almost ends the Miyuki training arc.
Oh yeah, almost.
Almost being the key word there. Like it felt so finalized. It's like
Yeah.
as we've already got confirmation previously that the story is ending.
Right.
It's coming to close, at least in Japan.
Yeah. Volume 28 will probably be the last volume, most likely, I think.
And so knowing that and going into this chapter where, you know, she just felt like she was putting a bow on everything, no pun intended, it felt like, wow, this is going to be the end. Like, we're not going to see any more. And then the narrator is like, but she thinks at the end, but little does she know. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that was so great, because I agree. That chapter really felt so perfect. Like, like it really felt like a perfect ending, and I really appreciated it for that.
Yeah.
But then yeah, it was really funny how the narration came in with that. And she also said something really nice. One of her favorite sayings is, "Effort doesn't always yield results, but there's no such thing as wasted effort." And I agree with her. That is an amazing saying. I don't know who said it first, but I really like it.
I'll quote Chika, you know.
Right.
whenever I use that phrase.
Yeah, like secondhand quoting.
As my favorite anime waifu says, no, it's a great phrase, and again, these few chapters, while she is ridiculous at times, and just kind of an unexplained, well, not unexplained, but unexpected time bomb. She does have moments where she generally is a good girl, like a good person and great advice, and is actually uses her brain, and like
absolutely
stuff like that. So
right, I mean, she isn't a dumb person.
No,
like we
she's
talked
not.
about that. We've established this before.
Just bears repeating.
It's just yeah, right, yeah, it does. But I will admit, I did feel a bit sorry for her when Miko and Yu went on about how obvious it had been that Miyuki and Kaguya were dating and all that stuff, and she was just so like quiet for such a long time and just like all insecure and like just confused as to why she was the only one who hadn't understood it.
So when Kaguya told her that she and Miyuki were dating, I was actually kind of shocked the way she took it. She took it pretty well and congratulate them. And that was like the wholesomeness that, it was so nice to get. And then after the blank stares and realizing that she was the only one who didn't know, then, the pouty real Chika kind of came out. and I'll admit, that was like, okay, this is the Chika I know. No, I mean, she took it too far, but again, comedy, hilarious. And I just love how she was kind of this overbearing or overprotective parent for both of them, really.
Right.
in that instant.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah, it was funny when she even herself kind of realized that, like, is this how a parent feels
Yeah.
when their kids grow up?
Uh-huh.
But yeah, yeah, like for a while she was definitely acting immature, but yeah, it was fun, and it was kind of worth it, I guess, for the payoff by the end of that chapter.
Agreed.
Mm.
Absolutely agree. And as we were saying earlier, it kind of put a perfect culmination to the whole training arc and giving
Yeah.
away Miyuki to her best friend Kaguya. And yeah, just it was a really beautiful scene. I
Yeah.
I love it.
I also really liked how Chika came to appreciate the time that she spent training Miyuki.
Right.
It's also a really nice little detail there.
I agree. Uh, and actually, at the end of that chapter as well, her sending off the Oni band remind me of the cockroach that she sends off in the opening or the ending song.
Right.
I guess she does that in the manga too, but
Precisely. There's in the
yeah,
chapter in volume 2, I think it is, where she does that.
yeah.
Which actually, I'm thinking that's going to become relevant soon, because Miyuki. Well, we were reminded about Miyuki's phobia of bugs, and that's something that she's going to help him out
Oh,
with. And
mm,
by the end of the chapter, at the end, like the final page of that chapter, after Chika like sent the cockroach away to the forest,
uh-huh,
the cockroach, like we got to see like some lines from the cockroach, but that probably nobody else heard. But like
uh-huh.
somehow the cockroach was like thinking or speaking, and it said that I will return to you, a girl with a ribbon, and like to thank you. I will come back with all my friends, or something like that. It said back then, and I'm
Oh
thinking,
no.
like, I've been thinking ever since that chapter. I've been thinking that's gotta happen at some point. Like, it's gonna be like an infestation of cockroaches or something at Shuchin Academy, because they're gonna come back to, I guess, yeah, they're gonna come back to thank Chica or something.
Chica, the cockroach queen. Okay.
Yeah. And I could see that being tied into the chapter whenever she helps Miyuki, I guess, get over his phobia of bugs, if that's gonna be what's happening.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm happy about that, and it seems like Akasaka hasn't forgotten about all these little things that I've been waiting for for a long time.
Uh-huh.
Volume 2, I'm pretty sure it was back in Volume 2.
Great stuff. And yeah,
Mm.
yeah. We mentioned like all the stuff with Chica and Miko. I thought a lot of that was really good or really funny. And
Mm.
yeah, it's just great stuff for Chica this volume. I am very pleased as a Chica fan. I don't want it to stop. Like
Of course.
feel free to give me more Akasaka, but I understand that there's a lot of other juicy plot points that are there to be explored. So
There are. But I understand you totally. But was that all on her?
yes.
Cool. Then let's move on to Yu Ishigami next. We got it confirmed here finally that you did indeed know that Kaguya and Miyuki were dating. We talked about that before. Like, we speculated, did he know and didn't he? We were pretty sure that he did know.
Hmm.
But there hadn't been, I guess, a hard confirmation that he definitely did. But yeah, it's good to know
Right.
that he definitely had it all figured out.
And it was the Christmas time. Like that was
Right.
the moment for him. So
Yeah.
so okay, at least like I was picking up on his feelings potentially, like or what he was picking up
Right.
on, you know?
Yeah. Precisely. And there was a sequence of panels in this volume where we got to follow along with Yu's kind of narration as he explained how miserable he was. And on the panels where we saw this narration, it was all panels of him kind of smiling when he was around his friends. I thought that was a pretty powerful sequence of panels,
Mm,
because it really shows how burdened he is while still putting up a
right, a
positive
facade
or
in a
happy
way.
facade or front. Yeah, yeah, stuff
Yeah,
like
no,
that get kind of sad.
I mean, I think you could still kind of have like some of the happy, even those feelings, or at least kind of put that out there
Yeah,
when you're among your friends. But there could be some things that are making you really sad or miserable, whether they be depression or rejection in this case, and there's other
mm.
things as well. But um, yeah, so I think it's again makes Ishigami relatable to a lot of people.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah, he's our boy.
At least he hung out with Tsubame. I thought was a nice thing,
Mm.
but maybe it just made it worse.
Yeah,
Um,
it seems to be difficult for him.
I want them to still be friends, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it's hard, as the previous volumes have stated, it's hard to keep up a relationship with someone who rejected you, you know?
Yeah. Right. Precisely. So yeah, like I would totally understand if they would just kind of drift apart, even like with time, kind of. I could understand that. It would make sense, kind of. It would be realistic, as sad as it is.
I think it would, yeah.
Hmm. Um, and in the end, maybe that would be the best for you in the long run. But it is still sad, I think, because they are
Yeah.
both amazing people, and we know that they enjoy each other's company.
Just life is like that sometimes, especially
Right.
after you
Mm.
graduate from high school and you go your separate ways. Like
Mm.
it's hard to keep track of everybody.
Definitely. But you did tell Miko that when she was comforting him, he told her that she was treating him like a little kid, and he said that as if it was a bad thing, but he didn't really seem to mind being comforted that way, and that got me thinking about last volume when you when you said that a big bosom symbolizes motherhood and comfort, and so we know that in his mind, motherhood and comfort are probably a strong thing, kind of. And I guess for him to be comforted by someone in that kind of a manner, I guess he kind of liked it, which obviously would have worked to Miko's benefit there. But yeah, because he said that last volume when we were talking about boobs, he said
You
that
just had to bring up the boobs again.
of course, of course. He said that if a woman cradled his head against her chest, all his worries would float away. And I think Miko's lap kind of served the same purpose here for him. So, it all makes sense.
Soon his taste or what he likes will change. Just like Miyuki, probably if you asked him
Yeah,
before he had a crush on him.
precisely. Yeah, no, no. I think that's true in a lot of cases.
I like how in turn Ishigami comforts Miko in a
Yeah,
way, but instead
yeah,
of not to say that Miko is doing it for the wrong reasons. I mean, I've already stated my whole thing about eh, the manipulation and taking advantage. Okay, so I guess it was taking advantage of the situation. Okay. It was definitely taking advantage of the situation. And she had ulterior motives behind it. Well, while also actually kind of being there for him. Um,
right.
However, I think in Ishigami's case, there are really no ulterior motives whatsoever. He was just being a good friend and really
Hmm.
just taking a good deed and giving it back in a way. Um,
Right.
Now, I think that and what Miko says after that, as she runs away, did
Hmm.
give him pause, and I think he's really trying to understand things between them. But in that moment, it was definitely genuine. Here, let me comfort you, kind of a thing.
Definitely.
But about that part, I think it shows that Ishigami may be a little apprehensive to fall in love again, and not just that, but I think he may be worried about rejection or getting it wrong, because I think he even mentions something about
Right.
what if I get it wrong.
Precisely. He did. You're right.
So I think maybe he senses some of these hints that she's putting down. I mean, as we know, Ishigami is a pretty intuitive and perceptive person.
Yeah.
So he's definitely has to be seeing these suggestive hints
Right.
that she's
You're right.
putting
He's
down.
gotta. Right. Especially after that scene that just happened.
Right.
So right. Yeah. So when he says that,
Mm-hmm.
what if I don't get it right at the end of that
Mm-hmm.
chapter, then maybe he is suspecting things, but he doesn't. He's afraid of, I guess, going like drawing conclusions or
Exactly.
like assuming anything.
Mm-hmm. Right. And had the whole Tsubame thing not happened, I mean, I think it was good for him to get confidence anyway. But if the whole Tsubame thing had not happened, then maybe he would have been a little more willing to or quicker to pick up on that and not
Mm.
maybe falter. But then again, their relationship has kind of been in, you know, love hate. Maybe I mean the right word. It does seem to be kind of antagonistic. I don't know. Like
I mean,
they're
to a
not
degree.
to a degree.
Yeah.
So I don't. I guess even then I wouldn't blame him for being like, what am I seeing right here? Like, what am I feeling? What is going on?
Right, right. Yeah. So yeah, that is a good I guess moment for you to kind of well for us it's interesting to see kind of
Right.
what's he thinking and stuff like that.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Would that be considered the first time where he's starting to think about his feelings for
Well,
her?
the question is if he is having feelings there or if he's just suspecting that she might have feelings.
Yeah, the good point.
Like it's possible that he hasn't necessarily started thinking in those lines yet by that chapter.
True. True.
At least that's how I see it. But definitely by the second to last chapter, if I think it is, when he and Ray are spying on Miko. In that chapter, because Ray asks you if Miko is just a random stranger to him, like
girl knew what she was doing.
yeah, she did. She did. She was definitely asking the right questions. And she asked him if Kyoko Otomo and Miko were the same to him, and like all that stuff. And his reaction there, followed by him actually confronting that middle-aged dude,
Scumbag.
I think gives us hope.
Yeah, not just that. Like, he literally asked himself, "What is, to me?"
Exactly. He did that later after that. Yeah.
That is a strong question to ask yourself about someone that might be attracted to you.
Yes, exactly. So the fact that he may be suspecting that she likes him, even though he's hesitant to, I guess, assume anything. But still, the fact that he has some kind of suspicion, supposedly, that she likes him, is a good thing. Plus the fact that he's asking these questions now. That what is Miko to me?
Yeah,
that's very exciting. And also from that chapter, we saw how, well, it seemed like it was pretty strongly indicated that you felt some amount of jealousy when you saw Miko having fun with Daddy Shirogane.
Yes.
So there's that too. So we have a lot to, I guess, live on now until December, I think, when we get the next volume.
Getting some juicy stuff. I know, December. Merry Christmas.
I hope it is a Merry Christmas.
Yeah. I wonder how many volumes it's gonna take. It's gonna happen. I've said this a million times. I'll say it a million times more. It's gonna happen.
It's gotta.
I wonder how many volumes it's gonna take to get to that point. How long are we gonna have this mini game of Love is War go on?
Right. Yeah. No, it's so exciting. I feel like it. I mean, it's gonna be faster paced than Miyuki's and Kaguya's for sure, but I have a feeling that volume is gonna be a big one, at least for Miko. But yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, anything else on you?
Yeah, I like how we got more information about his Discord life.
Yeah, that's right.
And just how many friends he has over that, and how it. I mean, in this day and age, there's so many ways to have friends and healthy relationships too. That I'm just so glad that he has that sort of way to connect to people, and that Miko is, well, at first he was very much just like against all that. But after seeing that maybe she's getting behind on or falling behind in Ishigami's mind at the time, then she also opens up into Discord, and it just shows that Discord communities can be great and a great place to really expand your friendship from people all over the world or close to you, and just it can be a great time. Can be toxic, of course. Like, not everyone has great experiences.
It can be, yeah.
But I think it's just another place to meet people and find other people to support yourselves. And I think the best place to do that is on the Umami Manga server, our Discord server. Like, you should totally join. Like,
yeah.
We don't really play video games together. I maybe we should start doing that.
We should arrange something like that sometime. Maybe like Mario Kart or something fun like that.
That could be fun.
That could be fun. But yeah, totally. Link in the description wherever you're listening.
We love talking about manga and anime. That's for dang sure.
We do, and it's a really nice community. A bunch of nice people there.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, seeing you, and not you, James, but you, Ishigami, like how his experience was when he was new to that Discord server, and like it was so sweet and wholesome, I thought, and I love that.
It was really, really nice.
So yeah, to our listeners, hey, maybe you'll have a similar experience when you join our Discord server. I do hope so.
Yeah, don't expect to find your waifu or anything like that. Like, I mean, maybe you will. I don't know, or your husband.
Hey,
I don't know.
Matchmaker James and Petter. I mean,
we can hook you up.
Maybe. I guess.
You're taking this out, right?
Never say never. We are not taking this out.
What?
No, we're keeping all of this. Anyway, was that all on you?
I think so.
Great. Then let's move on to Kobachi Osaragi. And pardon my language in advance, but
oh my gosh,
this fucker. She's putting her nose where she has no business to be. What gives her the right to expect you to stay heartbroken over Tsubame? What gives her the right to badmouth Miko right in front of Kaguya? What an utter douchebag she is for having led Miko on to believe that they were friends for a long time, supposedly.
It's a heartbreaking revelation. Like, something, because it always felt, you look back to the was it volume 6 or 7 where
7 when they were introduced,
when they had, that was when she had her speech, right?
Yeah.
And they had such a touching moment, and she talked about how well she knew Miko, and you felt like she was very much caring for her.
Right.
Fast forward to this volume, and it seems like a totally different person. It almost makes me feel like we don't understand all of her thoughts fully, or like there's something we're missing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, if there is something like that, I guess that would help. But it is still true, though, that over the course of the volumes, since Miko and Kobachi were introduced in Volume 7, we have gotten hints toward her, I guess, well, toward this. Since we knew quite a while back that she didn't support that ship. That's something. And
right.
we also saw a couple times where Miko was in need of counsel, but Kobachi wouldn't give that. And I guess I'm not surprised entirely.
Really?
But I am surprised that I'm not surprised by, I guess, the basics of it, but I am surprised at the extreme nature of it all.
Those are some pretty nasty things to say.
Really, like, not only does she consider them not to be friends, she even, like, holds some pretty dreadful feelings toward Miko in secret, and has been for a long time, supposedly. Like since they were in junior high, it's been, I guess, getting worse and worse. And so ever since they were introduced, it's been bad. But we just haven't really fully understood until now.
Yeah.
But, you know, Miko has new friends now. She doesn't need Kobachi anymore. Kobachi is the pathetic and sad one for not having any friends. I'm sorry. I'm going hard on Kobachi right now, but she really upset me. Like, really.
Yeah.
She just ruined the only friendship she may have ever had. Because she has these ugly thoughts about this really sweet girl. And I can't comprehend her at all.
So here's me trying to comprehend her. I wonder if this drama really comes down to her feelings for Ishigami and just jealousy. And it's really just two people liking the same person. And one person, I guess, feeling like they're losing. And for whatever reason, Kobachi is going a very roundabout way of expressing their feelings for a person, or not even expressing, just having feelings for a person. It's a very strange way of doing it.
Yeah, she makes it very clear to Kaguya that there is no romantic affection from her to you.
I disagree. Because she doesn't say romantic, she says love. And I think that may be different. And she kind of has a strong negative outlook on love in general, and I think she's just kind of lying to herself in a way.
Okay, that's fair. She may be kind of in denial about it or
Right?
something.
In denial, but just saying, oh, it's just platonic. It's just I just admire him, that kind of a thing. Because for some reason she doesn't feel like she deserves to fall in love with people or have a crush. Yes, she's like dated other guys, but it's never been consistent. It's never been long. And I don't know if that's
Yeah.
because she's always had feelings for Ishigami. I don't want to think that's the reason. I just
Yeah.
think that maybe she just kind of struggles in that sense. But again, I could be totally off base with this. It just sounds like someone who is jealous of another person.
It does. You're right. Yeah.
For various reasons.
But if she's not gonna make any moves herself, like
right, it's totally
to
toxic.
badmouth Miko this way, I mean, yeah, and be this toxic as you say, it is dreadful. Like seriously, no wonder she doesn't have any friends. Like that deceitful, backstabbing liar.
Yeah.
Ugh. Like
yeah.
I don't get it. Like regardless of whether she has like romantic / love like feelings for you or not, I don't get her.
Definitely, she's one of the hardest nuts to crack.
Yeah, like why would Miko rub her the wrong way that much?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Tsubame was difficult, you know, being one of the impossible girls. Compared to Tsubame, it's a different kind of complicated. It's like really deep and look, maybe I'm reading it wrong, but I feel like we're gonna in this next volume get some really deep look into her character and exactly the feelings that she's going through. Maybe there's some self-hate there, and maybe she doesn't like the fact that, well, I mean, you know, that people hate her, as she says, and maybe that's what spawns her negative outlook on people in general.
But she only has herself to blame if that's the case, based on the way she treats others. If this is how she treats people who think of her as a friend, then no wonder people hate her.
I mean, yeah, if you know, it's hard to say which started it. Was people just hating on her because of her parents' fame, and her
right.
looks, and then that just made her more pessimistic, and that just led people to hate her more, and it just came a down spiral. Or has she just always had a terrible attitude on life? I'm not sure. I find it hard to believe that she's always been a terrible person, and say that that's what she is right now. But however, I totally agree that what she's saying is terrible and uncalled for.
Yeah.
Totally not something you would do to a friend. And obviously she doesn't see her as a friend, but there's something wrong with her, not mentally as in she has a disability, but mentally, like her head's not in a great place right now. And I don't know why that is.
Right.
Because I feel like she hasn't always been like this. As we said before, I don't want to believe that, especially since she's visited Miko's home, like with Onodera was there too, and she's done it probably multiple times, and she's mentioned how she's cared, or how people don't really understand what Miko is like, and how it sounded like she was the only one who really understood, in a way.
Yeah.
Let me speak one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the romance thing, it won't come up. Maybe that's just me overthinking it. But she does mention that she gives an ultimatum in her mind, I suppose, or maybe she's telling to Kaguya. It's either me or Ishigami.
Yeah, the audacity of her
the audacity to make that claim.
Oh my gosh! After having said that, what's she expecting?
Yeah.
Does she expect to get picked after having said that?
Right. Yeah. It's ridiculous. So I'm wondering if it's not like necessarily, romantic feelings that are happening. Could it be that she's being so possessive of Miko that how dare she find someone special other than me? Which would be really messed up.
Oh, kind of like Chika was for a moment in this volume.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Chika was like that. But Chika's great. No.
We can forgive Chika.
There's something wrong with me. No,
No,
I
no. Chika is better than Kobachi 100 times.
yeah, there's
Like,
yeah.
at least right now. As you said earlier, like if the next volume, like I think yeah, as much as I'm displeased with Kobachi right now, I would appreciate getting some more depth on her in the next volume, in some sense, whether it's through a backstory or if it's just through just understanding her psyche and just thoughts better. Whatever it is, I
Mm-hmm.
would like something like that because I want to understand her as much as
Right.
I dislike her at the moment.
Right. Yeah, no. Absolutely. And I'm hoping that's what this next volume was or is.
Mm.
And another thing is with the flower thing she mentions um she mentioned she was ashamed of jealousy there. And so what? Is she ashamed that Ishigami was noticed Miko and did something? If Ishigami was the person who did that, is she jealous of just Miko going on and on about having this potential true love? There's not a whole lot we get per se, but there's a lot to think about.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she said she was ashamed when Miko would bring up the flower. She said she was always ashamed of
Of her
ashamed
jealousy.
of my jealousy. Oh, sorry. Yeah. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Huh. Yeah, so she is jealous for some reason. So I guess it does make sense to think that she does have some romantic interest for you in that case maybe.
Or something.
Or
I don't know. Or
I guess not
maybe
necessarily.
yeah, it's not
Ah,
it doesn't have to necessarily be that. That could be one
no.
option, but maybe
Yeah.
it's also just jealous that Miko has somebody, or is maybe she's jealous that Miko isn't turning to her for support. I don't know. Like it's not clear. And hopefully the next volume clears it up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Because
Yeah.
I've always really liked Osaragi being the person who cheers Miko on behind the scenes. Like that was how kind of the character was established in the beginning. And to
Right.
suddenly kind of not suddenly, it's kind of been going this way ever since the whole Tsubame Ishigami arc.
Yeah.
But we've gotten to this point that it just really is confusing.
What is she doing? Ah, and yeah, and another thing that I have appreciated about her has been, well, her as an observer,
Yeah.
and her observations on all sorts of things throughout the story so far. They've been really good observations, and I think both you and I have kind of found her thoughts about various things to be insightful and good good stuff. But now she sickens me. I, oh, yeah. I'm done talking about her. What about you?
On a lighter note, we we get a look at her eyes. Don't really get
Yeah.
that too much, but it's not the full
Mm.
look. Like we get one eye that's pretty close. I mean, that's probably the closest we've gotten to her eye. I feel like.
Yeah, we got like in the flashback, we got young Kobachi with I think both
Right,
eyes,
right.
but that was
That's
yeah,
different
yeah.
in my book.
I agree.
So yeah, getting that one eye. I mean, very pretty, but obviously hard to acknowledge that considering what's happening. And then the other eye and another one, like when she's like realizing Miko's behind, she's right behind me, and she kind
Uh-huh.
of
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
not fun. It was. Actually, it was kind of fun, like seeing the drama unfold, but also just really heartbreaking that it had to happen, or that it did happen.
Yeah.
It didn't have to
Dude,
happen.
oh my gosh.
Kobachi didn't need to be like this, but sometimes
Yeah.
you can't control your feelings, I guess.
I mean, true, but man, I cannot understand. Ugh, anyway, yeah. That's that.
Yep.
Ah, let's move on to Kaguya Shinomiya.
Finally tells her best friend about her dating, as we said, like finally get
Yeah.
that out there, and not just best friends to tell everybody. But I'm glad that Chika was finally able to find out.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though it was 4 months after they
After
started
they
dating, but
yeah.
but still, it's good that it happened. And this whole thing that we talked about, like about Kaguya telling Chika to quit playing the piano back when they first met,
Mm-hmm.
she can't have said that because she thought Chika was bad at playing piano, considering
Mm-hmm.
we know that she was excellent and she won awards, and like she was really really promising piano player. So there's no way Kaguya said it because she thought Chika was just too bad to continue playing, right? So with that in mind, it must have been on some level at least because she somehow noticed, I guess, Chika's struggle and kind of the pressure that she was under. Maybe she could relate to the pressure part of it, because obviously Kaguya has all for her whole life been under a lot of pressure from her family. Maybe something like that. It must have been, I think, for that reason, at least to some extent, just because I don't see any other reason for why she would have said it.
Right. Like the only other reason for a person potentially saying that in that situation, maybe jealousy. I can't bring that word, but like
I suppose.
she's so good. Like she's got a curvy figure.
Okay, true. That's something we've actually seen from her before.
Right. That's on point for her. So maybe she's like, you stop. Maybe that came out. She did seem kind of embarrassed about saying that when she was thinking back on it. But I also like to think potentially it was that she saw Chika was not really enjoying herself, or just being the super observant person that she is. I guess that she just saw someone that wasn't putting her whole heart into it.
Right.
I wonder what the game was that made her and Chika friends. We haven't heard what the game is, right?
Oh yeah, I don't think they ever specified.
Because they said that, didn't she say the loser had to be?
Well, I think she said that if Kaguya loses, then she has to become her friend.
Yeah. If I win, you'll be my friend. Yeah. So what game did she beat Kaguya in? I wonder.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Chika must have won. I wonder if she cheated or not.
Oh, I would be surprised. I think it's precious that she views Chika as special, and just like I found another special someone, it being Miyuki, and I love that, and how you can have multiple special people in your life.
Exactly. Yeah, that is really nice. All right, then let's move on to Miyuki Shirogane next. I loved how he was able to learn the dance quite quickly because he could recall back to the previous times when Chika had coached him. I thought that was beautiful. Really nice.
Absolutely. Just again, progression, and look how far we've come.
Yeah. I already mentioned the cockroach thing earlier, so I don't actually have anything else on Miyuki.
Oh yeah.
What about you?
I think it was funny that he relates to Miko's devious strategy, the kind of the hula hoops that the hoops that she was going through. If I get better at this video game, I can be able to talk to him, and then et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
He's like, wow, this is really complicated, but it's something that I would probably do anyway. So, yeah.
Precisely, yeah. He and Kaguya have been there. Yeah, that's sweet.
That's all I have.
All right, then let's talk about Rei Onodera a bit next.
All right.
I thought her misunderstanding of Miko was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
I think, all that. But I enjoyed kind of following along with her dilemma about, whether or not to tell you about what she thought was going on with Miko.
Absolutely.
That was interesting. And really that chapter, both she and you dealt with doing what they thought was right while trying not to repeat their past mistakes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I thought that was an interesting part of that chapter from both of their perspectives.
Right. It was an interesting comparison too. The whole Otomo incident, and then what was going on with Miko.
Precisely.
Yeah, it was nice.
And
I'll echo it. I like her Onodera's development from when we first saw her in the story till now. She's really aware of what she was before and now how she wants to be, and I really like that.
Absolutely, yeah. She has become one of my favorites. Like I'd say she's probably in my top 10 maybe.
Oh, really?
Of characters at this point. Not high in the top 10, but in the top 10. Yeah. I think honestly, yeah. She's great.
I just love how big of a Miko shipper she is. She's staring at them while you confronted Shirogane dad,
Yeah. Then let's move on to Hikaru Obayashi next.
Okay.
The teacher. Mm-hmm. It was really nice getting to know him a bit, since he was really just a name and a face before this volume.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see more of him, really, because his mission is basically to protect Kaguya,
Mm-hmm.
to some extent. And I think last time we talked a bit about kind of how Kaguya and Miyuki and the other students would, I guess, quote unquote, fight against the Shinomiya family,
Mm.
and kind of to help Kaguya, how they would go about that. And like, I feel like we have a lot of allies, like out of the students already, like
Right.
people that are on Kaguya's and Miyuki's side and who would do a lot to help them in this whole endeavor. But it's
Mm-hmm.
cool to know that, or just probably know that this guy may also side with them, and to have an adult on their side like that, who was basically hired for this purpose, more or
Yeah,
less.
I
So that's pretty
agree.
exciting.
Yeah, I like how it kind of gives an adult perspective on their plight in a way,
Yeah,
um, and how kind of reassures Kaguya that not all adults are, necessarily scheming to make your life miserable per se. We're all just kind of faking it till we make it. We're not as powerful as we may seem,
yeah,
and in a way, it kind of maybe she hasn't felt it yet, but I think he can give Miyuki and her hope, that they will be able to be together. But
right.
that's just kind of beginning thoughts, and we'll see what happens going forward.
Yeah, and well, we got a little bit of a ship that might start to be built here
Yeah,
with him and the Komari Machida, another teacher at the school, like who I think is the teacher in Miko's and Yu's
I
homeroom.
think so.
Um,
Yeah, I think they're 2A. Yeah, I think.
right. At least it was a second class teacher,
Yeah.
so
Hmm.
I think it might have been their class. It probably is. Yeah, I guess we'll see how much of that we'll see moving forward. Anything else on Mr. Obayashi?
No.
And let's talk about Daddy Shirogane. So yeah, he took over Chika's headband and became Miko's
That was
FPS
great.
sensei.
Oh my gosh.
It was. Oh, that was so fun. And by the end of it, he sent the ogre headband back to Chika.
Honestly, one of my favorite gags.
Yeah,
This is
it's
so
great.
hilarious.
It's really good.
Chico's home is that way.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really have much on him though, like in terms of actual content.
Nah, didn't expect him to be a huge gamer.
Right, not as
Uh,
much as he turned out to be. Yeah. And really like an old school gamer who has even kept up with the modern games too.
yeah, I guess it just comes with being a content creator.
Right, yeah. He must have done all sorts of streams and stuff like that. The last character that I have notes for is Koromo Shiranui, who we get to know in this volume really for the first time. Really, like we'd seen her before, and this time she actually had a role for the first time, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Still hope to see more of her, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
it was good to get some, well, an introduction.
Inter-love rival? At the very least, it's an obstacle for Miko. You know.
Yeah, from Miko's point of view, yeah, she is a bit of a hindrance, maybe. From Yu's point of view, I could see either way, really. Like, I could either
Uh.
see it, because I could see similarities with her and Tsubame. So,
Oh.
with that in
Hmm.
mind, I could imagine that you might fall for her. However, I could also see similarities with her and Kyoko, in which case I don't think he would fall
Oh.
for her because I don't think there was ever love interest for from you to toward Kyoko. I guess that can be debated, I suppose. But anyway, I guess my point is I could see either way.
I didn't think about how Ishigami felt about her. That's a good question. I think, yeah, right now I don't think there's really anything. I mean, I'm sure like he would be interested, physically speaking, in
Hmm.
in her. Someone who's supposed to be one of the most attractive people at the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. I just don't know if those feelings are there yet, especially with him still getting over Tsubame in a way.
Yeah. I think most likely he probably doesn't have any feelings like that for her.
I guess the way I thought about it was, does she have anything, or will she
Ah.
have anything? And
Oh,
I
I
don't
see.
think so. Uh, I guess my answer is still no. I'm not even sure if she'll end up gaining feelings for him. I guess it would be more interesting if she does become a little love rival, but I almost feel like she's just gonna be there to egg Miko on in a way. But then yeah, but then why would she be one of the difficult girls? Or I don't know.
Impossible girls.
Impossible girls.
Yeah, exactly. She and Momoru Yuju still gotta have more of a role to play, I feel.
Yeah.
So whatever that's gonna be, I guess we'll see. Do you have any other characters you want to talk about?
Mikado, and just real quick.
Yeah.
He seemed pleased to hear Miyuki and Kaguya had gone all the way. Like, that, Kaguya was getting on with her life.
Yeah, that she was in a happy relationship and stuff. Yeah.
Right, a happy relationship. Not entirely clear, like, exactly how he was processing it. I thought it was, kind of happy for her.
I think so too.
I don't know. I feel like what his role in all this, why he's here at this school, is still a mystery.
Definitely.
And so the fact that Kaguya is getting on with her life could have something to do with his mission. And I don't know. Just something that I was thinking about. That's all I have.
Cool. Then let's move on to the comedy discussion.
Yes.
And James, take it away with anything you got on Chika. Let's just get that out of the way.
The duality of Chika. You get the super understanding, beaming Chika, and then all of a sudden she's screaming, crying on the floor. Like, this is cuckoldery! Like, whoa!
Yeah, oh my god, she was so immature that whole time. Or not the whole time, but oh my gosh. Just flailing on the floor like a baby.
Oh boy. Changing your mind is a sign of maturity. She's the most mature person here then.
Yeah, and when she was just like behind Miyuki's chair trying to intimidate him or like doing weird noises.
I don't know if she was hissing or I don't know what she was doing. That was
yeah, oh my, I really want the anime to get there. Obviously that's way in the future now, but
I know.
That's gonna be great.
They're gonna do great. We already mentioned the Oni headband. So great. Love it. I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait to see Chika stumble upon it. Like, it's probably going to be some, like, little side page,
right?
panel thing. She's probably just, oh, no.
Or something. Yeah, like with a sweat drop or something.
Yeah. And then dancing with Chika. That should have been me! That should have been me!
I had a feeling you'd say something. Yeah, Miyuki was very close to Chika there.
That should have been me. Kaguya's mind when Obayashi walks in, or just that whole scene of her wrongly interpreting his words was hilarious. And then the money gag returns. It's like, I'll pay you. Like, I'm real.
Yes. Is that the third time? I think that's the third time we get like her handing over money. I think it was during the life game and also during when Miyuki made the heart balloon. Yeah.
So funny.
It is. Yeah, it's great. And it's not overdone either. It's just it's perfect.
No, it's so good.
Yeah, I love how Miko immediately settled for calling Miki's dad Daddy.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
Immediately, she was like, okay, I'll call you Daddy.
It's like, girl, you were too quick on that.
She was. I love that.
I knew there was going to be complications. As soon as she said that, I was like, oh, that's gonna cause some trouble. Something's going. And sure enough, Onodedo was like, wait, what?
And I mean, I understand exactly how she would misinterpret that.
Yeah,
my gosh.
I think both Koromo and Miko need a little better way of describing what they're doing. And not giving people the wrong impression. You're
right, but I wondered if Koromo did it intentionally or unintentionally, because I could honestly see both. Or my initial thought was that it was unintentional. It just somehow came out wrong. Yeah, but then I think on my second read through, I wondered what if she's doing this intentionally, just for the lulls, kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe.
How chaotic.
We don't, right, precisely, because we don't really know her. So.
True.
So maybe she is this way, and if that's the case, then honestly, I'm all into that. That's funny. But
all right, note to self, Pitter's into that.
Yeah, maybe. Well, Also, Miko was teasing Daddy Shirogane over the phone. I
Oh,
thought that was funny in and of itself, but
Miko.
it's also nice how it's really the same thing that she's done to Miyuki before. Like
True.
kind of
That's
teasing Miyuki
true.
that in a very similar
Yeah.
way.
Good
So
point.
I really like that.
Yeah, when she's definitely comfortable with the guy, like she'll start teasing him that way.
Yeah,
Um,
especially the Shiroganes.
especially the Shirogane.
I
Yeah.
wonder if she'll tease Kei like that in the future.
I wonder.
Hmm.
You're so emo.
Yes,
Like,
again. And and I think we've sort of understood by now that this is a translation thing. But even still, even though it is,
ah,
or
I don't.
or at least that emo isn't referred to as exactly as it is in English. Like from what I've understood, there is some kind of dissonance there. But even though there is, like, even though it's not a perfect translation, I still feel like it's funny anyway. Like, especially since it's become such a recurring gag kind of at this point.
So when Hayasaka says it
Mm.
and when Miko say it, I think they're different instances, like different words,
Ah, okay.
is what I think.
I mean, I
Contextually
think that makes
speaking,
sense probably.
I think they got to be different, and I think it makes more sense for Miko here to say "you're so emo"
Hmm.
versus when Hayasaka says it.
Right, you're absolutely right. Yeah, here it might actually mean like what we in English use
Right,
or mean when we say emo. But back in in Hayasaka's case, it didn't make sense as actually emo.
right.
But yeah, that's a good point.
I could be wrong. I haven't seen the actual Japanese.
Even still though, I think it's fun, I guess, to just have this word coming back from time to time.
Yeah,
At least in the English translations at the very least.
yeah.
It's fun regardless to me.
I definitely got a chuckle out of me when she said it.
Yeah.
Girl gamers are impressed by guys who play well. Well, I'll never find a gamer girlfriend apparently because I'm not very good. I love video games, but I suck.
Oof.
No gamer girl for me.
And there's plenty of fish in the sea.
Did we just get the Ishigami version of how cute?
We did. We did. But and it makes sense, I think, for Miko
Yeah,
to have that kind of fear
absolutely.
because he has been giving those kind of smirky, kind of high horse expressions, and yeah, it's fun. It made sense. It came naturally, I think.
And oh, how Akiba has fallen.
Oh yeah.
Did I ever tell you when I visited Akihabara, I did end up going to Maid Cafe only because the people who were with me, one of them being native Japanese, was like, "Oh, we got to try this. We got to try." I mean, he wasn't. I don't think he was a nerd. Like he was,
Hmm.
or otaku. I think he wanted to see for himself, but he was using the excuse that he had a bunch of gaijin with him. And it's like, "Oh yeah, let's go."
Why do you need to give an excuse? Like, just do it if you want to do it.
I think that there's definitely a negative vision about it.
I suppose.
Then again, you're in Akihabara, so it's kind of
Right.
expected how that would be. But it is funny how Ishigami kind of brings up that it's just kind of gone to the wasteland. In a way.
Yeah, right. Do you remember what year that was when you went to a maid cafe in Akihabara?
2015.
15. Okay, so I was there 3 years later and went to a maid cafe as well, with my cousin and a Japanese friend of ours,
Mm.
and we went there on my initiative because I was curious. I watched Steins Gate. I wanted to see what it
Yeah.
was like in person. It was really just out of curiosity for me.
Hmm. For me, it was super embarrassed. I'm being dragged here. I guess I'll be here, kind of a thing. But anyway, it was definitely experience. So it was just funny to hear Ishigami talk about that. And I've always wondered what it was like for people who actually lived there
Right.
and seeing that this is what the city has turned to.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, I actually took very few notes on the comedy for this discussion. As you may have noticed, I didn't bring a whole lot of stuff up during the comedy part here. Sorry if you have anything more, feel free to bring up more. But I just wanted to say that to me, this wasn't that. I mean, definitely I laughed here and there, and there were funny bits,
Right.
for sure. But overall, I feel like this is a more serious volume that doesn't have as much comedy as a lot of the other volumes do. To me personally, I like that. I mean, volume 15 is probably my favorite volume of all, and that one
Mm.
is also one of these volumes that doesn't have quite as much comedy. compared to other, like, I guess, aspects.
Yeah, I feel like when you have comedy in the Kaguya volumes, there's like chapters dedicated to it. There really wasn't a chapter dedicated to just like a comedy bit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
In this one, there was definitely funny moments, and like you, I was laughing at times, and the whole Shirogane dad thing and Chika and all this. So many. For me, there was a lot of funny moments, but there wasn't like a chapter like this is going to be the funny chapter. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, it wasn't like pump up the big balloon chapter. Like, it wasn't anything like that,
exactly.
for example.
Which, to some people, maybe that's a downer. It's like, why isn't this how it used to be? This is not Love is War, which I'm pretty sure Akasaga has made a point before, saying like, my story has really changed to what it used to be.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is okay. I love the direction we've gone in.
I think it's changed for the better. Like, I think the story just keeps on getting better and better and better. Like, or, well, more or less, anyway.
Well, more or less. I mean,
yeah.
We're progressing. The story is not repeating itself,
Right.
It's not the same kind of dynamic that we had at the very beginning, which I feel like a lot of longer running manga, there'll be some development, but sometimes the formula does get a little old. And that's not really the case with Kaguya-sama. It's in a sense a continuous drama in a way.
Yeah, like and I've said before, it really is the drama part of this manga that appeals to me the most, like more so than the comedy for sure. Even though, of course, I love the comedy as well, but
absolutely. I do have one more thing. Sorry that would have been a great way to end, but I do have
all
one
good.
More thing.
Go for it.
I think you appreciate this. I think you'll really appreciate this. Men suck. All romantic feelings suck. No, Kobayashi, maybe you suck. Like,
yes!
Maybe that's the thing that you're missing here.
Yes. Kobachi sucks.
Oh, did I say Kobayashi? Sorry.
I didn't even notice. It's all good.
Osaragi sucks. There you go.
She does. At least that's how I feel right now. Very strongly, if I hadn't made that clear.
I actually don't feel like that. But
I do. I'm so upset with her.
I mean, she sucks in this volume. Like this volume, like it's totally. But one, I'm hoping for some sort of redemption, change of light, kind of a thing.
Man,
And also, I just see what she used to be, and I feel like, okay, she's not a terrible person, I don't think, but this one does make me doubt, big time.
Yeah. So, well, on that, let's move into predictions now.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess the big question really is, will Miko and Kobachi be able to get this whole thing sorted out in a good way? Like, is it gonna? Does it have a happy ending? And if so, how do we get there? Because honestly, I have a really hard time seeing how Kobachi is gonna get redeemed after having pulled this shit. Personally, like, what can she do to make up for all of this? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Because she really goofed up or messed up, or well, she said that she messed up, I think.
Right, and you know what? I think realizing that you messed up kind of means that there is a chance for redemption in a way. If she was just like, whatever, I don't care, kind of a thing, which I don't think she was totally. She was more like, why am I like this in a way? But then she went on and on about her complicated feelings. I don't know. It's rough.
I mean, clearly she doesn't have any positive feelings or thoughts toward Miko. So why? Like, honestly, I'm just baffled.
She has
by
in the past.
It seemed that way, yeah. But based on everything she said here, it doesn't seem like there is any positive feelings at all. And with that in mind, I'm like, why? I'm just baffled as to why she would have kept up this facade for as long as she has and pretended to be friends with someone who she more or less despises based on her description of Miko in this volume. Like, that's just so strange to me, and it makes me dislike her even more. I mean, that last chapter really got to me. Like, I couldn't stop thinking about it for like 2 whole days after I read this volume the first time. Last week, what was that? But anyway, yeah. And now I'm getting all rallied up again. Just
let me just say, that I feel like this is someone who's speaking in a very emotional time. Sometimes you say things that you don't necessarily mean when you're high strung, when you're caught up in the moment, and to an extent when you think someone's not listening. And maybe, and I think there's probably some truth, or if not all truth, to how she's feeling here and what she says. But at the same time, I struggle to think that there isn't any sort of care or special feelings that she has for Miko as a friend. So I'm expecting to, in the next volume, see exactly how she's feeling, or at least see some regret for what she said.
Yeah.
And just I'm getting to understand her a little better, because there's something that we're just not quite seeing yet, in my opinion.
I hope so. I hope there's more. I hope somehow, miraculously, that I can like her again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand if you really can't. Like, I can get that, because it is something that'd be hard to fully forgive. And I don't know if their relationship can ever be the same again, really. Right. But I would love to see them try.
Yeah. Yeah.
If both want to, of course.
It takes, I mean, yeah, right, exactly. But it's going to take, I think, a lot from Kobachi to really make up for everything that she said in that last chapter of this book.
Right. I agree.
Like, a whole lot.
Yeah.
And, like, the ball is in her court. Like, she needs to make a move, and it's got to be a damn good one. And I have no clue what that could be, but yeah.
And his history, according to how this story has gone, she's not really one to make too many moves, per se, you know?
Right. Yeah, she's really a passive character who mostly just observes other characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's she gonna do? Yeah, I'm excited, to say the least, for the next book.
For sure.
But the heart that you handed over to Miko at the end of the Culture Festival, well, still hasn't happened. I keep mentioning it because I feel like it's gotta happen at any moment now. But it's gotta, at this point especially, it's gotta be drawing near, right? Like, because as we talked about, Yu has started to kind of question his feelings finally, and Miko is definitely very much there. And you know, she's talked to, like, several characters know that how she feels. Like, the entire student council, except for Yu, knows it. Plus Onodera and Kobachi, and you know, everybody knows. And I guess also knowing that the next volume cover has Miko on it, I guess makes me a little extra confident that we'll get some good content on her.
It's definitely where the story is focused on right now.
Exactly, it really is. It only makes sense to continue, I guess, this thread, at least to a degree, into the next volume. Maybe not 100%. Like, I guess, yeah, we'll see. But also something else that's coming up, in addition to the potential heart that she might claim after, well, more than 3 months have passed now. In addition to that, I'm pretty sure the story right now is either at the very end of April or at the very beginning of May. It should be like right around that month shift right now. And Miko's birthday is coming up on May 5th. So I think that may be something that we get in the next volume.
Sweet.
So, you know, maybe Yu gives her a nice present or something.
Take some advice from Hayasaka. Wrap yourself in a ribbon.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh. We didn't see Hayasaka in this book.
Except for like a little flashback, like one panel.
Oh yeah.
That was about it.
True. There was a little flashback. Yeah. I would like to see a little bit more of her in the next book.
I mean, yeah, sure, a little bit more.
A little bit. Yeah, I mean, if nothing big, like just something like Nagisa and Maki were, for example, in this book.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I want to see her, you know, just a little
bit. Fair enough.
But anyway, the party with the sister school in Paris is coming up. And maybe not in the next volume, but soon. Maybe in the next volume, I guess. We'll have to see. And that seems like it might be a pretty big event. So actually, if it is a big event, like it should be like a trip around the world, kind of, then it might not happen until maybe the volume after next. Since right now it seems like we're pretty caught up in the Miko Kobachi drama, as well as the romance, the potential romance between Yu and Miko. So we are kind of already there. So maybe the Paris trip won't happen until volume 25, maybe. But it should be fun anyway.
So do we know for sure they're going to Paris, or is it some backwards things that they're coming here to host it?
Oh, I guess we don't know that for sure. Okay. I just assume that they would host it in Paris, and that the Japanese students would travel over there, similarly to how the French students traveled over to Tokyo last time.
That'd be nice. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, and like to have a trip, because we had the Kyoto trip, but that was only like part of the main characters who went there. But now I imagine for this potential Paris trip, then all of our main characters could go together. That would be fun.
Yeah. I agree with all your questions and predictions, unless I said otherwise. I guess just the overall story, what is going down with Mikado, and what's going to happen when the Shinomiya family finds out about their relationship.
Yeah.
What's happening in that end? We're getting a lot of, as we said, Miko and her relationships, and Ishigami, obviously. And it's nice to like take a break from the super serious stuff. But I'm also curious to see where that plot thread is going. Like, will they be able to stay together?
Right.
Not to say I was like, oh, I need that, but just thinking now about what do I want to see. That's something that I would definitely like to get more into, and how Shinomiya is going to possibly fight against her family.
You're right. Yeah. Actually, yeah, since this book didn't really deal with that at all, I guess it would make sense to at least have some of that in the next book, to kind of get back on that track a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously, yeah, that is kind of the main story, and that's there's definitely a lot of excitement there, I think.
But hey, if they had to sacrifice that in order to give Chika some more love, well, it seems a worthy sacrifice to me.
Yeah, and I mean, on that, it's possible we may get, I mean, not necessarily, but maybe we'll get the first out of these two Chika teaching Miyuki moments that were hinted at. Maybe we'll get one of those in the next volume.
Oh, maybe.
Whether it's the swimming one or the insect phobia one. Honestly, like, yeah, the insect phobia chapter, whenever it's gonna be, is one of the things that I'm the most excited for, especially since it really, or I'm really hoping and thinking that it's gonna be, with the cockroach coming back from volume 2, with bringing all its friends to Shuchin Academy, like
that'd be great.
That would be so awesome. So that's one thing I'm really excited for, which maybe we'll see it next volume. But that's all for my predictions. What about you?
That's all for me too.
Awesome. What else do we got? I don't think I have a lot else to say.
I think we're good. This has been a long discussion.
We have talked for a long time. Yeah, I guess no wonder we're a little bit short on words now.
I guess the last thing I wanted to say was, after I read this volume, I was like, and no offense if you're one of these people, no offense at all. How can you not think this story is as good as it has been in the past? I mean, yes, there's definitely some peak moments that happened in the past, but I feel like the story is just as strong as it's ever been. And so it's just shocking to me to say like it's suddenly become mid, or it's not. Granted, I don't know what the current chapters are like, and also maybe there's something to say about waiting for a whole compilation of chapters versus getting the chapters one at a time.
Yeah.
Just wanted to put that out there.
No, for sure. Wow,
this is pretty strong story still.
I agree completely. And I think absolutely, I mean, based on, well, for both of us at least, our experience with the Attack on Titan manga, I think you and I both appreciated it much more upon rereading it in the volumes rather than reading, each chapter as it came out. Where I think it helps in pretty much probably most series. It just helps to get a larger chunk of content, even though it's not as often. I think larger chunks of content help you appreciate the arcs more. At least for me, it definitely does, and I know that for sure. So then, that's all for this week. if you enjoy our content, you can follow us on Twitter at Umami Manga, and it would be lovely if you'd like to support us by either rating our show on the podcast platforms or subscribing to our channel, Umami Manga, on YouTube. If you like this episode, please share it with anyone you think might enjoy it too. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time when we'll talk about Volume 24. Bye-bye!
See you later!
Here, I know that whenever the first snow of the winter comes, like, everyone and their mother will write on Facebook, like, it's snowing! Like, every fucking time.
That's great. I love it. I wish we were like that. That's hilarious.